This season is about coming together, sharing moments.
We're going to go with the over tonight.
And celebrating what connects us. It's lighting the candles, gathering like a team, and finding joy in every night. 8 nights of tradition, 8 nights of celebration, 8 chances to shine. Happy Hanukkah from all of us at SportsGrid.
I see the Lions making it when it's all said and done. I talked to Brady Cannon about this. We were doing our show on Sunday night. I think the Bears are just a season early. I think they're a year early in their development. They are winning games, and they still have a negative point differential. The turnovers are keeping them afloat. That's just not sustainable when it's all said and done. Ben Johnson has done a fantastic job. Next year will be the year they truly take a lead.
Newswire, only on SportsGrid.
They're doing a new show about a Japanese interpreter.
Oh, they are?
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, they're doing I don't know if it's a documentary or actors are in it.
It's got to.
I think it's a drama.
It's a real show.
It's like a scripted show?
Yeah.
About a Japanese interpreter?
Yes.
I wonder who's getting paid for that.
The Craig Carton Show, only on SportsGrid.
Super Bowl MVP, multiple Super Bowl chances there, Super Bowl championship as they got it. Nick Sirianni said on the radio, no chance that Jalen Hurts is going to be benched. But by the way, Jalen Hurts didn't play the last 3 games. I think the Eagles would be 3-0 in those games, though. Just saying, Joe.
Oh, wow. How the mighty have fallen. When the Eagles fans turn on their quarterback, it's getting ugly in Philly, folks.
The Early Line, only on SportsGrid.
Hour number 2 is here. It's Monday. It's Armchair Quarterback Monday. We love to play that game right here on the Early Line on the SportsGrid Network. Donnie right side, along with Tom Vecchio, the hottest topics. You know we got you covered. A Monday Night Football game tonight. Looking forward to the college football playoffs. So much NBA in between, which includes Christmas Day, big-time action where you're going to be looking at some green, some pink, some crazy sneakers that are going to get released with special editions. It's probably more fun than actually seeing the games themselves on Christmas. But here we are, Tom. It's the morning time. It's new week. It's new money, and we're ready to bring that business home.
Yeah, I'm ready to roll. Huge week of sports. Quick shout out. Let's go Team USA and World Juniors starting on the 26th, going for the 3-peat. If you're not a hockey fan, you probably don't know what I'm talking about, but let's go Team USA.
Where is the tournament at this year, Tom? Where is it?
That's a great question. I don't remember off the top of my head. I believe it's still in Canada, but they shift the location every year.
Now, why has it got to be in Canada? We can't ever have that. Is it ever in the U.S.? It's only in Canada?
No, yeah. We have it. It rotates between, it's going to be Minnesota. They've had games in Buffalo. It's all over the place. So they rotate it every year, wherever it might be.
Yeah, see, that's bad move by the Team USA. Why are we putting it in Buffalo and up north? Put that bad boy down in South Florida. To make the Canadians at least work to travel. You know what I mean?
I mean, it's certainly a theory about it.
Yeah.
It's in Minnesota this year again.
Yeah, come on. They could just cross the border. They cross the border and get right back in there, matter of fact. That's not right here. Shift it far away as you possibly can. How about down there in Sunrise, Florida, home of the Cup champions, the Florida Panthers here? Maybe, but Tom will have his eye on that, no doubt about it. By the way, Team USA, pretty good junior run over the past couple of years, Tom. Is see if they could do it again and knock off Canada. Let's get to some of the hottest topics across the sports landscape, which includes Gardner Minshew, who I've seen him play some pretty good roles as a backup quarterback. Didn't happen yesterday. He barely played at all because he tore his ACL right off of Patrick Mahomes tearing his ACL. What a wasted season for the Chiefs here that are, Tom, not used to just making the playoffs. It's their birthright to get to the AFC Championship game and the Super Bowl, if not win it. Now they're non-competitive on the way out.
Yeah, Minshew is definitely one of the more competent backup quarterbacks, to your point. He was a starter for a number of years. He started in Jacksonville. He started in Las Vegas. He at least has some level of consistency that you would like to think he could bring. But I guess when it rains, it pours for the Kansas City Chiefs. You lose Mahomes. not only with the ACL, but Mahomes also had, the LCL injury on top of that. So his recovery time, they said that he's going to try and be ready for week 1. Minshew's now gone. They have to sign another quarterback because the last 2 weeks, you can't just be a non-competitive team when you're out there. In week 18, maybe, but it does not look good for the Christmas Day game that they have coming up.
Double-digit fourth-quarter lead for the Packers with Malik Willis in the game. Actually was playing pretty decent there. They end up losing that game to the Bears in overtime. And also, Jordan Love lost in that game early with a helmet-to-helmet collision. They even have a short work week this week to get back out on the field to play again. We don't know if Jordan Love's going to play, but boy, they're going to need him. 9-5-1 now for the Packers. Love went down. That's a shame at this time of the year, but we'll keep an eye on that this week, Tom.
It was a shame that he went down. I had some action on some of his passing yards. He just didn't get there. But Malik Willis is a viable backup. He looked pretty good in that game. He also started some games last year when Love got hurt in the Brazil game against the Eagles. Love was out for a couple games following that, and Malik Willis stepped in and won the game at Tennessee versus his former team. So there's at least a level of competency. The Packers are still up against it, though, in terms of them trying to make the playoffs. So getting the game plan right for Malik Willis with a still little bit banged up Josh Jacobs behind him, that's going to be the most important thing for what they have going forward. They need to win games.
Yeah, and also understand this, Josh Jacobs, man, dude is a warrior. Like, he was on crutches last week, tried to give it a go, and actually carried the football 12 times. Emmanuel Wilson picked up the slack with 14 carries for 82 yards. There were some questionable decisions that were made by the Packers in that game, but if you just fall on an onside kick, which comes right to you as a wide receiver, just catch it, fall down, and win the football game, which they were not able to do. Marcus Freeman and the New York Giants. Like, you look at the Giants, like, I like the Dable hiring as a head coach. I thought it would work out, but it didn't. The Joe Judge one was quite an embarrassing point. We have some Giants questionable coaches here. Marcus Freeman to the Giant does make a lot of sense. The question is, Marcus Freeman is a rock star in college. He's got a great job at Notre Dame and also probably the easiest schedule. And if you're looking for Marcus Freeman, he gets an auto bid into the college football playoff apparently now, as long as he's in the top 12. So I don't know if moving to the NFL is the right move for him, but it's hard to pass up going to the NFL, which, what would it be, Tom? 5-year contract, $65 million, completely guaranteed. No matter what happens, you get paid. That's not a bad option.
It's not a bad option. Here's the issue. The fact that his name is already out there for the Giants, it looks like they've kind of made up his mind. The Giants need a new GM, right? So you can't have Joe Shane still there and then hire the head coach, but then you still need to get a new GM because it's been an absolute disaster under him. The Giants are still a prestigious historical team. The results haven't been there lately, but I think moving to the NFL would be a good spot, and the talent is still there on the Giants roster.
Yeah, I think usually, like, you don't want to, hey, I'm going to take over for like a legend. Like, you're down right now. The quarterback's there. You're going to have some salary cap space, higher draft picks to deal with. Like, it's a pretty good spot. And again, being in a big market, but then again, that market with the New York Jets and New York Giants hasn't been too fun for any of these coaches over the past couple of years. We'll see, though. I think Marcus Freeman's in a great spot. Young coach there, good spot. It's going to take a lot of money to pry him away and head over to the New York Giants. We'll see if he does that. The Patriots end up beating the Baltimore Ravens last night, 28-24. Lamar Jackson looked really good to start that game. Then just a mysterious back injury, which you didn't see coming, and missed field goals that come up short and chances to win football games. And Zay Flowers, another fun. I mean, by the way, I like Zay Flowers at wideout. He's 7 for 84, covered his number if you bet on him for his props. But it just seems like in his young career, he's had so many bonehead fumbles or bad plays at the worst time. He did it again last night, which helped clinch the game for the New England Patriots.
Yeah, complete up and down game from so many different angles. And the injuries, Lamar, Travion Henderson on the Pats side of things, the fumbles from Derrick Henry, the interception from Drake May. This game had a little bit of everything. Really, really nice bounce back when it's all said and done from New England. Losing to Buffalo, especially the way that they did last week, absolute disaster of a game. Start off with the interception for Drake May, but then you kind of weather that storm and come away with a road win against a good team. Obviously, the Ravens aren't great by any stretch, not the team that they once were, but credit to the Pats for bouncing back, and just a lost season from the Ravens. It's time to move on from John Harbaugh. That's what it is. You got to move on from him. It's an absolute waste of a franchise that you're wasting the best years of Lamar with a bad head coach.
By the way, also, sometimes, Tom, you can never fault a coach or a team for swinging and saying, I'm going to go down with my best. The fact that Derrick Henry ran for 7.1 yards per carry, 2 touchdowns at 128 yards, basically through 3 quarters, and he wasn't on the field the rest of the game. Sometimes you just can't make it up, and it doesn't make any sense. No, so you're letting the Ravens defense off the hook. They needed 1 stop, and they couldn't even do a damn thing over those final 2 drives, which were touchdowns there for the New England Patriots. And then the final the game, like, you know what? If we hold them up, we still get the football back down 7. They gave up a rushing first down. But my goodness, Derrick Henry not being on the football field, that certainly was a travesty. Ed Cooley throwing stuff into the stands. You can't do that. You know, DK Metcalf probably took a little bit of that as well, trying to swing on a Detroit play. But how about that? Ed Cooley, water bottle to the head of a kid. Not good.
Yeah, a little bit of frustration from him. Throws a water bottle right behind the bench, and it hits a child. Georgetown, right move by them, suspending him for a game or 2, whatever it's going to be. Take the media backlash that he's going to have to deal with and move on, right? It's still December. Like, it's not crunch time yet for these college teams. Take the heat and move on.
But the interesting part about that, too, is he throws it in there. If he just goes over and apologizes, probably not that big of a story. But the fact that it got caught on tape, and I guess you do have to suspend him because you're a head coach at a major university. It's just a bad sign. Like, oh, if you don't suspend him for that, what's next? You throw basketballs that bounce off kids' heads in the bleachers. It is what it is. Murakami signs with the Chicago White Sox. Tom, how about that deal?
Yeah, good deal for him. Kind of a low risk, high upside for the White Sox. I think he'll hit some home runs. He'll also strike out a ton.
Yeah. FanDuel, how about this? Regional sports networks about to go belly up, leaving a lot of professional sports teams up in the air. Who's going to get their broadcast rights?
Yeah, huge issue for teams getting their games on the air because right now a lot of these teams have no homes.
I bet you we're going to talk bowl games coming up shortly. And you bet you your boy DRS is going to be very surly about doing that. Come on back. Find an angry DRS. We'll get him in a couple minutes.
I'm just saying, if I were a good NFL head coach, if I were a hot offensive coordinator, and that coaching cycle's going to come around, and they're like, hey, do you want the Giants job? Or do you want the Michigan job? I think the Michigan job is much better.
Game time decisions. Only on SportsGrid.
You ain't buying no tickets.
Who isn't?
You're not going to these
I'm
games.
a fan. Of course I'm not. There's a fan. What's wrong with you?
Yeah, but if you were a fan, I thought you were a fan of the Hurricanes. You're not anymore.
They told me.
They smashed
I told them to donate my tickets.
Yeah, so I get it. But the fans travel. They have money, believe it or not. It's amazing. They do. Well, somebody's got money.
In this economy,
but they have money. I don't know. See what Kalshi says about the economy.
SportsGrid's College Football Today.
Look, the trend continues to go to Blake Corum. He's still available. I can't believe he's still available. So if you have Kyren Williams, you got to have Blake Corum on your roster. And if you don't have Kyren Williams, I think you still want Blake Corum on your roster. You got to have these insurance policies on your roster at the very least. Even in a shallow league, if Blake Corum's floating out there, don't let him float out there. The last thing you want to have happen is for him to end up on some other team and then taking you the next couple weeks to win a championship.
Fantasy Sports Today. Only on SportsGrid.
They went all in with the Sauce Gardner trade, right? All in. You get a couple of number 1 picks here. Then Daniel Jones breaks the leg, and then he tears the Achilles. All right, you're signing Phillip Rivers. Are you kidding me? I mean, by the way, you know what hasn't been talked about enough? Sam Ehlinger decided he didn't want to come play for the Colts. Why? You would have been. I know Denver activated him to the roster anyway, but he would have been maybe a starting quarterback this weekend.
Pro Football Today. Only on SportsGrid.
You know, we're pretty good. Our graphics guys are really good in the background. The producers always put us in the most lights here. But sometimes I wish, like, did you ever see the meme, Tom? where you see the one kid, he's like goes peace, and he sort of like dips off the screen and disappears and just like leaves the guy next to him who's still there. Like, Tom, I wish I could go like this, and I would disappear from the screen and leave you up here because you love bowl season. I don't know if you actually do, but you probably do. I can't stand bowl season, but we do have to talk about it. But also, I can appreciate this. See, there you go. Perfect. They did it right on the fly. I'm out. Peace. Wait, can we do that? Hold on. Put me back up on the screen. Put me back up there. All right. Can we time it up for my peace button right here? And say, all right, we're going to talk bowl season, guys, today. Peace.
Yeah, we can talk bowl season here today. There's so much going on. Action today. Utah State, 2 p.m., hosting Washington State in the Idaho Famous Potato Bowl, which is unbelievable that there's not a team from Idaho playing in the Idaho Potato Bowl. Right off the jump, no interest in this game. I will say, as we talked about before, also credit to Washington State, Donnie. They could be using the same meme that you use when they no longer have a home in the conference and everyone's leaving them. That's what we should be talking about in this spot. But I would say points in this game, first and foremost, points to start. But it's a coin flip game, Donnie. You want to go there. What does the winning team get? Do they get extra potatoes?
Hey, French fries.
Give me some hash browns. Nice crispy hash browns.
Oh, there you go. There you go. Now, see, Tom's got underway because, by the way, underrated. Really crispy hash browns at breakfast, man. Like, I'm not talking about hash browns you go to McDonald's. You get like the hash brown, which I do enjoy those, don't get me wrong. Yes. But the home fries / hash browns with that baked in top that's extra crispy, boy, you cannot go wrong. Sometimes, too, they hide on you, Tom. You ever go out to like a breakfast? You go, okay, let me go and get breakfast. Like, let me get the home fries or whatever. They come like this, the little potatoes as opposed to like the real like home fries and hash browns. See what I mean? They try to hide it on you.
Yeah. I want the shredded potatoes that have that nice crust on them. What we should be doing, Donnie, in this segment is like a top five versions of potatoes. What are your favorite potatoes? How are they prepared? That's what we should be talking about in this segment.
I love
it. Because Donnie, and also, if people that watch the baseball show know that you and I, food is a big topic of conversation for us as the show goes on. So nice crispy hash browns, that's what we want.
By the way, also, did I remember this take correctly from you? The worst French fry is like a not well-cooked waffle fry. Was that you?
Oh,
or who was
100%.
That take?
Waffle fries that are not crispy enough are terrible. Soggy waffle fries are the worst. But when waffle fries are done correctly, they're great. But the range of outcomes for waffle fries is massive. Like a curly fry, you get a curly fry, you could get through with any kind of curly fry. But bad waffle fries are horrendous.
Now, see that? Like, most people would say a lot of time, I don't pay attention to a lot. Like, the things go right through my head. But I remember food takes. Like, I could pull out something 8 months ago that Tom said about waffle fries, because when I agree with something, I'm certainly going to remember that there at this point. Let's take a look at the Boca Raton Bowl. Toledo versus Louisville. This is not today. This is tomorrow, but also a 2 o'clock game. I sort of respect the hustle. Put it on midday. And it's like, I'm still probably not watching it, but I do find it intriguing as opposed to at night. It just upsets me at this point, Tom. 6.5-point favorites for Louisville, 44.5 as a total. How about this? I don't know anything about either one of these two teams here. I have watched Louisville play because they beat my Miami Hurricanes. I'm just going to take the over 44.5. It's a bowl game. We're not kicking field goals. We're not punting. We're going for it on 4th down, Tom.
Yeah, lean towards the over, but also just Louisville. Toledo stepping up in class, going just at least from a G5 team stepping up to, really a Power 4 team. Louisville, if they have any hope of being a premier ACC team, you should be able to handle Toledo. Like, this is an early September type of game, Donnie, where this is the schedule. It's regionally, it's close enough that they'll take on this matchup. I think Louisville should be able to cover this number, and we should be getting points in this game.
By the way, this next game we're going to talk about, Tom, this is the New Orleans Bowl. Shout out the city of New Orleans. We were down there for the Super Bowl last year. It was fantastic. And by the way, there is a sports bar that's right next to the convention center, which has us on the entire week. Now, they didn't know who we were at all. And I ate every single day at this bistro. And you know me, Tom, I only eat one time a day. So I was dragging Joe Lisi out there. I was dragging Kevin there. We ate all week long. But one of the TVs, the prominent one in the middle, always had the SportsGrid network on. So they're going to probably watch this today and still have it up on the screen. And they don't have it on with the sound, but maybe they're playing it here. So shout out Joe's Bistro down in New Orleans, who supports the SportsGrid network. And most importantly, the program we have, Western Kentucky and Southern Miss, 2.5-point spread here as a favorite towards WKU. Southern Miss 57.5. But shout out Joe's. Damn good Italian food. I enjoyed my time in New Orleans. Here's the New Orleans Bowl.
Yeah, I would say the Hilltoppers from Western Kentucky get this one done. I honestly would play them on the money line instead of playing them on the spread at this point. The real question is, Donnie, what was the go-to for you in that part? Because the one thing I've never had would be beignets, which I would love to try. That's
Delicious.
where I would want to try some.
Yeah, delicious. By the way, myself and Kevin Walsh on one of those days, we actually ate. He was his first time at wasn't Pop Raising Cane's down there. Very nice delicacy. Enjoyed it ourselves. And by the way, a little bit of trivia for that. Me and Kevin go to Raising Cane's on one of our breaks early in the week. The Philadelphia Eagles were staying at the hotel on the waterfront down by the convention center. So who comes strolling along? Two Gloves Kenny Pickett rolls up to Raising Cane's and orders. Now me, I don't like to go up to people. We knew who it was. We left them alone. But I'm a big Eagles fan, just left them alone. But see that? New Orleans comes up. So that's a bowl you can get down with. The New Orleans Bowl, I'm with it. How about the Frisco Bowl, Tom? UNLV and Ohio. The MAC versus, hey, maybe Mr. Dan Mullins looking to try to improve himself and get a bowl win here and move up in his competition. Any thoughts here, Tom? Again, UNLV and Ohio.
Yeah, we talked about this game a little bit before. I think Ohio is just in disarray, with a new coach after being fired for allegations, which apparently, aren't on the worst side of things. Extramarital affair that his wife knew about, as we talked about last week. But let's just take UNLV, the team of a higher quality, laying less than a touchdown, coming away with the win, Donnie.
There we go. So we got the bowls underway. We're ready to go at this point. We talked a little New Orleans. We talked a little French fry action. And understand this, French fries, like if I had one food to eat the rest of my life, it would be pizza. But Tom, my wife can attest to it, and so can my kid. I've gone out for food so many times, no matter where we're at, what restaurant, I always get French fries. I'll go out to breakfast. It's like I had the last week. I had pancakes and I had a side of mozzarella fries. I love French fries more than anything. I do.
Pancakes and mozzie fries for breakfast is crazy, or your one meal of the day, but we got a lot to talk about.
You got to fit breakfast, lunch, and dinner combinations all at once, Tom. You'll learn. You'll get on my bandwagon soon. We'll be right back.
I'm just saying, if I were a good NFL head coach, if I were a hot offensive coordinator, and that coaching cycle's going to come around, and they're like, hey, do you want the Giants job? Or do you want the Michigan job? I think the Michigan job is much better.
Game time decisions. Only on SportsGrid.
You ain't buying no tickets.
Who isn't?
You're not going to these
I'm
games.
a fan. Of course I'm not. There's a fan. What's wrong with you?
Yeah, but if you were a fan, I thought you were a fan of the Hurricanes. You're not anymore.
They told me.
They smashed.
I told them to donate my tickets.
Yeah, so I get it. But the fans travel. They have money, believe it or not. It's amazing. They do. Well, somebody's got money.
In this economy,
but they have money. I don't know. See what Kalshi says about the economy.
SportsGrid's College Football Today.
Look, the trend continues to go to Blake Corum. He's still available. I can't believe he's still available. So if you have Kyren Williams, you got to have Blake Corum on your roster. And if you don't have Kyren Williams, I think you still want Blake Corum on your roster. You got to have these insurance policies on your roster at the very least. Even in a shallow league, if Blake Corum's floating out there, don't let him float out there. The last thing you want to have happen is for him to end up on some other team and then taking you the next couple weeks to win a championship.
Fantasy Sports Today. Only on SportsGrid.
They went all in with the Sauce Gardner trade, right? All in. Give you a couple of number one picks here. Then Daniel Jones breaks the leg, and then he tears the Achilles. All right, you're signing Phillip Rivers. Are you kidding me? I mean, by the way, you know what hasn't been talked about enough? Sam Ehlinger decided he didn't want to come play for the Colts. Why? You would have been. I know Denver activated him to the roster anyway, but he would have been maybe the starting quarterback this weekend.
Pro Football Today. Only on SportsGrid.
Predictive markets, we absolutely love them here. We love to have some fun. We love to do everything around it. If the predictive markets were saying, like, who's going to be the best French fry of 2025, Tom and I would be involved in that, no doubt about it. But some of the other topics, Tom, that we need to talk about, like the NFC South division winner. You saw yesterday, this is a massive game. Tampa Bay lined up against Carolina in Carolina, and Carolina pulled out the victory. So you might think now, Tom, hey, wait, let's see this. They won yesterday. They're a game ahead in the standings, but they're overwhelming underdogs to win this division. We're talking about the Carolina Panthers. If we go to Kalshi and take a look, Tom, if you bet $100 on the Carolina Panthers with one game lead with 2 to go, $100 pays back $264. Carolina, as Rodney Dangerfield said, I get no respect.
Yeah, certainly not viewed as the favorite, just as the market overall. And, people will continuously buy into the talent that is Tampa Bay and some of the pedigree that they have shown over previous years. It's Baker, it's Mike Evans, he's back. There's some hype around Emeka Buka, the rookie. They've won a Super Bowl in the past, obviously not with the same, group of players. And then people won't buy into Bryce Young. And I don't know if it's the team. I don't know if it's the inconsistency that he brings. And also, as we talked about before, Carolina's staring down Seattle in this upcoming week, and Tampa is taking on Miami. It's a loss for the Panthers. It's a win for the Bucs, and then they face off in Week 18 at Tampa Bay. And when it's all said and done, Tampa will find a way to win. Therefore, they win the division. It won't be pretty, but those things aren't set in stone. It's not set in stone that the Panthers are going to lose and Tampa's going to win, because we have seen no level of consistency from them thus far.
But I'll tell you, I saw level consistency from that Dolphins defense once again yesterday, Tom. My goodness, man. And they left Burrow, and Burrow could have thrown for 450 yards and 6 touchdowns in that game. And now you have that rookie quarterback starting. We are anticipating that, yes, if you have a one-game environment, Tampa's at home, you're going to trust that they're going to win it. That's why they're the favorite. But it's just so odd. Like, oh, no, they're still heavily favored because, well, you're right. We automatically give them a win next week and automatically say that the Panthers are going to lose their game against Seattle. We'll find out the way it goes. Tom, as we sit here, couple days till Christmas, which then turns into the new year, and then turns into February pitchers and catchers. We're not too far away. Thank goodness, because I love Major League Baseball season, Tom, from April right through to August 31st. Then I hate it during September, and then love it once again once October picks up and playoff baseball. The AL East division winner on the predictive markets right now. Toronto, 36%. Yankees, 32%. Boston, 19%. Do you believe also that the predictive markets are correct, or a $100 wager would pay back $278 on Toronto, that they should be the favorites right now over the New York Yankees?
I do. And it's so funny, Donnie, when we started baseball season all the way back in March, and I remember doing the preview show with you, we were looking at the Yankees. We said, oh, we like what the moves that the Red Sox have made. We're like, the Blue Jays, they have no shot. They have no shot to win it. Maybe the Orioles could sneak in again. And things have turned so much in less than a year, where the moves that the Blue Jays have made in the offseason have been solid, adding some pitching with Dylan Cease. I like what they've done. The Yankees have yet to make a big move. The Red Sox have made a few smaller moves, getting Sonny Gray. They made a trade just yesterday to get Wilson Contreras. I think the markets are right. I don't think any team could be number one. I don't think any team's going to run away with the AL East. So if Tampa wins, it's going to be close. Excuse me, not Tampa. If Toronto wins again, it's going to be close, but no one's going to be running away with this division. That's my ultimate takeaway.
Yeah, can't wait. Baseball season. Before you know it, pitchers and catchers down there mid-February. You get the World Baseball Classic this year, which I'm actually a little bit more invested. I don't like that. Like, I hope no Phillies actually go and play, and that would be nice, so everybody else can get injured but my Phillies. But when you see, like, hey, Scooble's going to be in and Skeens is going to be in as a 1-2 punch, oh, my goodness, man. That is going to be some fun to absolutely watch it play out. But, Tom, NFL news here, or maybe we're getting news after the Giants season ends, who their head coach is going to be. Permanent head coach of the New York Giants here on the Kalshi market, Jeff Hafley, defensive coordinator, is listed at an 18% chance. He's down 1%, though, followed by Shula, Kubiak, Freeman, McCarthy, and Arumo. Marcus Freeman is interesting, as we talked about it, but he's actually down 5% at this point. To me, Tom, I don't ever believe, for the most part, where you're trying to get your franchise off the ground, where you have a defensive coordinator as your head coach. If you think you have your young quarterback and it's Jackson Dart, I figure like you have to go offensive here. So I don't know about these defensive guys. Who are you thinking maybe is the Giants head coach, though?
If it's not going to be Marcus Freeman, as we've talked about, Kubiak makes some sense. Get some offense in there. To your point, you don't want defense. Like, I understand the old school mentality that Mara may have, that you want to bring in Shula. But I don't know if that's the right option. You need to enable the offense to really push things forward in today's NFL. You could have a great offense and a competent defense, and that can make you the playoffs every single year. That's what you need to have. You can't have a great defense and a completely lackluster offense. That's not good enough anymore. You need to have great offense and at least competent defense.
By the way, John Gruden at a 3% here, $100 wager pays back $3,300. Give me somebody offensive to Coach Jackson Dart so he doesn't run his head through a brick wall. We'll be right back on a Monday right here on The Grid.
I'm just saying, if I were a good NFL head coach, if I were a hot offensive coordinator, and that coaching cycle's going to come around, and they're like, hey, do you want the Giants job? Or do you want the Michigan job? I think the Michigan job is much better.
Game time decisions. Only on SportsGrid.
You ain't buying no tickets.
Who isn't?
You're not going to these
I'm a
games.
fan. Of course I'm not. There's a fan. What's wrong with you?
Yeah, but if you were a fan, I thought you were a fan of the Hurricanes. You're not anymore.
They told me.
They smashed
I told them to donate my tickets.
Yeah, so I get it. But the fans travel. They have money, believe it or not. It's amazing. They do. Well, somebody's got money.
In this economy,
but they have money. I don't know. See what Kalshi says about the economy.
SportsGrid's College Football Today.
Look, the trend continues to go to Blake Corum. He's still available. I can't believe he's still available. So if you have Kyren Williams, you got to have Blake Corum on your roster. And if you don't have Kyren Williams, I think you still want Blake Corum on your roster. You got to have these insurance policies on your roster at the very least. Even in a shallow league, if Blake Corum's floating out there, don't let him float out there. The last thing you want to have happen is for him to end up on some other team and then taking you the next couple weeks to win a championship.
Fantasy Sports Today. Only on SportsGrid.
They went all in with the Sauce Gardner trade, right? All in. Give you a couple of number one picks here. Then Daniel Jones breaks the leg. And then he tears the Achilles. All right? You're signing Phillip Rivers. Are you kidding me? I mean, by the way, you know what hasn't been talked about enough? Sam Ellinger decided he didn't want to come play for the Colts. Why? You would have been. I know Denver activated him to the roster anyway, but he would have been maybe the starting quarterback this weekend.
Pro Football Today. Only on SportsGrid.
Back to the NFL, people. What happened yesterday and this weekend in the matchup of games? Well, the Dallas Cowboys were hoping that the Washington Commanders would show up on Saturday night. The Commanders did not. They faked the quarterback injury. They made sure they tanked out the rest of that game, and away they went with a loss, which meant the Dallas Cowboys had nothing to play for on Sunday. They came out like, you know what? We might just win this game. We're going to be competitive all the way through, until they weren't, getting shut out in the second half in a 34-17 game, which the Chargers easily covered as an underdog in this game. And the total, which was up in the air, eventually does get over by a half of a point. Herbert threw 29 times for 300 yards, 2 touchdowns and no interceptions. Dak Prescott also added 244, 2 touchdowns and no interceptions. For me, Tom, it was the case of Ladd McConkey. I needed 45 yards in this game. I had 4 catches for 43 yards and a touchdown at the break. They ended with 4 catches for 43 yards and a touchdown after the break. Thank you, Ladd McConkey, for nothing. But the Chargers, 11-4 now on the season, easily dispatched of the Dallas Cowboys, whose season is over.
Right. And, the big takeaway for me from this game was Herbert looking well. And over the past, 3-4 weeks prior to this, obviously the passing yards had been a little bit low for him. He was dealing with the surgery on the non-throwing hand. They were running the ball a lot. And obviously this is the Cowboys defense, so it's a nice get-right spot. But them building momentum into the final few weeks of the season is a huge takeaway. The fact that the Chargers were underdogs was crazy. I had them on the money line yesterday, as I talked about on IGL with Scott. Just a great win from them from top to bottom. It's really that simple.
By the way, Trayvon Diggs here, while he was out with that concussion, was trying to hang a TV. Let me tell you, they ever had a Jeopardy question, $500, because that never happened here. Do we believe that he got his concussion, had to sit out for that long because a pole fell on his head at home? Otherwise, do you think somebody hit him in the head with that pole on purpose?
I would like to think that it was simply an accident, as we often see weird, wacky accidents with players and slipping on this, and all the way back to Sal Perez on the Royals tearing his ACL carrying luggage when he was a rookie. All these weird stories. I would like to think that it was some freak accident that he's trying to, but in reality, you should be hiring someone to install some big TV and mount it. You got the money to do so. Don't do anything crazy during season that could get yourself hurt.
And by the way, I think it was Jason Peters of the Philadelphia Eagles who tore his Achilles, and they gave him, you ever see the scooters that you put your leg up on, you get around? Well, the scooter broke, and he re-tore his Achilles here, and I think he got a pretty big settlement from one of those companies. So there has been some crazy injuries around the past couple years, but hanging a TV yourself and getting hit on the head with a pipe while you hang the TV, that's a new one there. I'll tell you what else is new. The Detroit Lions were favored by 7 yesterday, expected to get a victory over Pittsburgh, who might have their eye on the prize down the line. The Pittsburgh Steelers scored 17 points in the fourth quarter to win 29-24, even after a missed field goal, which made it much easier for the Steelers to win that game. Detroit comes down in a wild finish, which saw a pass to the goal line with offensive pass interference, a lateral backwards. And by the way, I don't know what they like. Forward progress doesn't make any sense to me either, Tom. The fact that they even called that a touchdown, which it didn't matter anyway because the penalty. But so you're telling me you can catch the ball at the 1, fight, get thrown back to the 5-yard line, and then just flip the ball back, and then you can run into the end zone. It didn't make any sense. But Jared Goff threw for 364 and 3 touchdowns, and they still lost. Why? Because the ground game, 230 yards by the Pittsburgh Steelers, crushed Detroit on the ground.
Yeah, a wacky game, really, from start to finish, and the ending. The ending made no sense. Where was the full announcement of what actually transpired on that play? It was pass interference, but it was this. He made his way into the end zone, St. Brown, that is, and then they're going to call the game because, the 10-second runoff or whatever it might be. It wasn't the only issue from that game, Donnie, though.
No, it wasn't the only issue. And by the way, the Pittsburgh Steelers at 9-6 clinch another year of being 500 or better under Mike Tomlin as they head towards the playoffs. And quite frankly, the Pittsburgh Steelers, Tom, next week, they get the lowly Cleveland Browns without even their best weapon in the backfield. They win that game. It doesn't matter what the Baltimore Ravens do. That Week 18 game going to mean nothing because the Steelers are going to move on.
Yeah, it's a huge game, and it really comes down to what we see from the Browns. What type of push can they get on offense to try and keep up with the Steelers? Because, Donnie, immediately that game screams under to me. I don't know the total off the top of my head, but it can't be higher than 42.5. It screams under to me, and this is just a really simple game because if they win this, they can have a de facto bye week in Week 18, and that's really what matters to that.
By the way, you know what else matters? DK Metcalf walking over to a person in the stands and making contact. Let's roll this clip real quick here. You can't be that stupid as an NFL player. Yes, fans are going to get on you at this point, but fans can't enter your realm. You can't enter your realm. So why would you walk back to the stands and put your hands up and put your hand on a fan? I can't wait to see the FedEx envelope that's coming DK's way. You can't listen to that. Or if you want to yell back and forth, that's fine, and have fun with the fan. Hey, you suck. No, you suck. But you can't put your hands on the fans, man. You can't do it.
And have you seen the reason why, apparently, DK did this?
What is it? No,
okay,
why?
so the reason is, this is at least according to the Lions fan, and obviously some of this more of this has to come out, but he used his full government name. Apparently, the fan called DK his full government name, DeKalin Zacharias Metcalf. And apparently DK doesn't like that. So, again, this is just what the fan said. Obviously, there's going to be an investigation more. The issue becomes, Donnie, is what happens leading into next week. Is DK Metcalf going to be suspended? Is he going to be there in the most critical game for the Steelers against the Browns, as we just talked about? So whether or not anything happens, he gets fined, suspended, yet to be seen, but it's happening at the worst possible time for the Steelers. They need him out there.
Yeah, Jake Paul got his jaw broken 2 places, but cashed $92 million. That fan should have kept that jaw down around a little bit closer. A connection from DK Metcalf could have been a nice little payday for that fan. Look, you're going to lose a football game on the field. It hurts. Detroit's going to go home from the playoffs. Take a punch from DK, get a couple million in your back pocket, and away you go at this point. But also, we talked about Mike Tomlin never loses here. Let's hear from the Steelers.
I'm just so appreciative of the men that I work with. And the fight that they displayed individually and collectively. Certainly wasn't perfect, a lot of adversity, some of it created by us, but they didn't blink. And that's what's required this time of year. We also talked about the game's got to look a certain way. this time of year, and it certainly did. We were able to run the ball and stop the run, and we kind of rode that wave in terms of controlling the game. Certainly, you got to give Detroit a lot of credit. Man, they stormed and fought. We knew they would. We knew what type of game we were coming into, the gravity of it, the venue. Kudos to their fans, man. This is a tough place to play. But I'm just thankful of the fight and the win. And we'll keep pushing because that's what you got to do this time of year. Win or lose, you got to keep pushing, and we will. We're coming in tomorrow to watch the tape. We ain't got time for Victory Mondays.
Come on now, Victory Monday. You do got time for it because you got a layup this week, Mike Tomlin. You don't even have to get prepared for that Cleveland Browns team. Their only goal is to lose. Your only goal is to win, and you can clinch and rest up. But understand this. The Steelers have always been that organization which, they don't make any sense. I'm hoping as me, being a Philadelphia Eagles fan, Tom, you go and play Buffalo this weekend, win or lose, and it looks like you probably lock up your playoff spot. Take that Week 18 bye against Washington, get completely healthy, and go into the playoffs. I remember so many times in my life where the Steelers, again, are always competitive and always have a winning record. They like to play their starters because a football game's a football game. I'm telling you right now, you have an aging football team. Win against Cleveland. Don't play a single player against your rivalry in the Ravens who would love to beat you up in that final game of the season so you can't go on any further once you make the playoffs. What do you think about that, Tom? Do you think the Steelers are resting up in Week 18 if they win against Cleveland?
Well, some of them are going to be resting. Namely, it should be Aaron Rodgers, who's still playing with the brace, padding, whatever it is, on his left hand after the fracture, whatever he had there. So he should be resting in Week 18. That's what it really should be. So get your starters out there. Warren's been dealing with some stuff. Get the key guys out of there, and then have everyone else out there get rested and go into a wild card matchup ready to roll.
With a loss by the Lions, which took place yesterday, which I thought they would win that game, both the Bears and the 49ers, welcome to the playoffs. We just don't know if they're going to win that division or what seed they're going to get, Tom.
Yeah, that's what it really comes down to. It's not as important of a game for the 49ers tonight as we thought it would be, but they still can lock up, or I shouldn't say lock up, they still can push towards the NFC West with a win.
By the way, if you're not thinking about Duval in the playoffs, you're doing it wrong. This team is red. We'll be right back. Duval.
This season is about coming together, sharing moments.
We're going to go with the over tonight.
And celebrating what connects us. It's lighting the candles, gathering like a team, and finding joy in every night. 8 nights of tradition, 8 nights of celebration, 8 chances to shine. Happy Hanukkah from all of us at SportsGrid.
I see the Lions making it when it's all said and done. I talked to Brady Cannon about this. We were doing our show on Sunday night. I think the Bears are just a season early. I think they're a year early in their development. They are winning games, and they still have a negative point differential. The turnovers are keeping them afloat. That's just not sustainable when it's all said and done. Ben Johnson has done a fantastic job. Next year will be the year they truly take a lead.
Newswire, only on SportsGrid.
They're doing a new show about a Japanese interpreter.
Oh, they are?
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, they're doing I don't know if it's a documentary or actors are in it.
It's got
I think it's a drama.
It's a real show.
It's like a scripted show?
Yeah.
About a Japanese interpreter?
Yes.
I wonder who's getting paid for that.
The Craig Carton Show, only on SportsGrid.
Super Bowl MVP, multiple Super Bowl chances there, Super Bowl championship as they got it. Nick Sirianni said on the radio, no chance that Jalen Hurts is going to be benched. But by the way, Jalen Hurts didn't play the last 3 games. I think the Eagles would be 3-0 in those games, though. Just saying, Joe.
Oh, wow. How the mighty have fallen. When the Eagles fans turn on their quarterback, it's getting ugly in Philly, folks.
The Early Line, only on SportsGrid.
Put some respect on that name down in Jacksonville. 11-4, Jacksonville Jaguars. 5-2 away. Liam Cohen's first year. His job was to resurrect Trevor Lawrence. Trevor Lawrence went on the road yesterday to a hostile environment against a 12-win Denver football team. Goes 23 of 36, 3 touchdown passes, no interceptions, a pass rating of 115, but more importantly, a QBR of 87.4. The Jacksonville Jaguars as underdogs. I didn't think they'd win this game because I've been pretty high on Denver, the cardiac comeback kids. Bo Nix threw 47 times for 352 yards, and it wasn't good enough. Jacksonville by 2 touchdowns. I am so impressed with the offense for the Jags, which looks like it's running, Tom, as maybe the best in the NFL right now.
It really is. And the thing I was most looking for in this game is what version of the Jags offense we were going to see. Don, if you look back at their past few weeks, and granted, they've been great over these past few weeks, but they played the Jets and they played the Colts and they played the Cardinals, and they're playing all these lackluster teams. And it's great to beat up on lackluster teams. It's great to put up the offense. Trevor Lawrence was great over those stretch of games. And I said, okay, was this a mirage? Was this just based on who he was playing? Like, putting up 300 yards or whatever it was against the Jets last week. Okay, it's great to do that, but it doesn't impress me. Doing so against the Broncos on the road, looking so clean in this game with no interceptions, passing the ball, distributing it to all these guys, that is what is the most impressive thing. Their defense also has stepped up. And granted, the schedule, as I said, hasn't been the toughest test over the past few weeks, but holding the Broncos to 20, all signs are pointing up for Duval County right now.
Yeah, Parker Washington getting healthy, 6 for 145 and a touchdown, long as 63 yards. I love what I see out of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Here's Liam Cohen talking about RESPECT.
A small market team like us can come into a place like Mile High and get it done.
Smack him. Smack him. He's taking names out here at this point right now. He doesn't need Baker Mayfield. He doesn't. By the way, look at some of the offensive play callers, right? You look at Tampa Bay, who still has a chance to win the division but not having a great season. Liam Cohen goes to Jacksonville, kings of the world. You take a look at Ben Johnson, leaving from Detroit. Detroit's about to get knocked out of the playoffs. He goes to Chicago. Kings of the Midway here, man. Some of these assistant coaches maybe should have fired your head coach and just installed him, Tom, as the head coach.
Offense is still at a premium in the NFL. And, there are some rules that are very favorable towards the offense that I would like to see a little bit change, give some more balance to the defense. But if this is how the league is going to be played and this is how the rules are going to be structured, you need to find an offense coordinator and a head coach that will enable those things to push your team forward. It's really that simple.
How about this? The Chicago Bears improved with their 11th win of the season, knocking off the Green Bay Packers in a contested battle that took place over this weekend in overtime, 22-16, which saw a long bomb end this one, which was a great catch by DJ Moore and even a better pass for Caleb Williams. But the Green Bay Packers should have had this game wrapped up, get a couple stops. They let him go down the field to score, even a 4th down touchdown. And then I was actually hoping, Tom, for a 2-point conversion attempt because it would have hit a perfect middle, didn't. Then you saw Green Bay get the ball first and drive down, only to fumble away their future chance here. Green Bay now, playoffs a little bit in doubt, but the Chicago Bears, they keep winning 6-1 at home now.
They keep winning, and it's more impressive on how they did so. Now, granted, Jordan Love got knocked out of the game. Malik Willis came in, backup quarterback, no Micah Parsons. There's a lot of other factors going on in this game than the Bears simply winning it. But I would say that I think the Bears won this game. I don't want to say that the Packers lost this game. It's a little bit different than Thursday night where I say that the Rams lost that game. Seattle didn't win it. I think the Bears came out and won this game. And it looked terrible for a while, but coming back from being down by so much, doing so many different things, scoring on offense, getting the stop, the onside kicks, all of those things, the Bears had to take steps. And I really like what they showed. Do I think that they're a huge threat in the playoffs? No, but it's still a great step of a season for them.
Yeah, and again, nobody's going to feel sorry for the Green Bay Packers. You lose your quarterback in that game, which you probably should have won, but you didn't. But also the Bears, playing without, Romadunze and Burden, like those guys are going to come back and be healthy. That just adds an extra notch. Now you have a good offensive line, a good quarterback, a really good running game, and add some of those pass catchers in there. Certainly a fun team to watch play out as we head down the stretch. There's only 2 games remaining, but the Bears did clinch. They're in the playoffs now. It's just a matter of where that seeding is going to be and can they clinch that division and lock it all up. We talked a lot about that Patriots-Ravens game from last night. A double-digit lead in the 4th quarter. You need to stop. You couldn't get it. You need to run the clock out. You couldn't do that. And how do you like to do it? With Derrick Henry and or Lamar Jackson. Lamar Jackson dipped out of that game early, and basically your all-world running back dipped out of that game early not because he was injured, because the coaches didn't let him play. Great comeback. Drake May. Damn, did he look good last night in that comeback mode second half.
Yeah, absolutely unacceptable game from the Ravens. That's really what it comes down to. Their season started off terribly. They made a little bit of a resurgence in the middle of the season. They got some players back on defense. They got a little bit healthier. They started making some, good plays and good stops, and they strung together some wins. Granted, it wasn't against the highest level of competition. And then we have this constant up and down with the offense, with the defense, never seemingly on the same page at the same time. I believe the Ravens need a coaching change. That's what it comes down to. They need a coaching change. What has happened over the past few years doesn't matter, but also more importantly, what's happened over the past few years doesn't work for John Harbaugh and the offense that they are putting out there right now. Get a change, clean house, and get a new coach in there and salvage the best seasons that Lamar has left.
By the way, take a look at the 2026 NFL draft order right now. It's kind of interesting as it plays out because you have 2 teams with 2 losses, the Giants and Vegas. Then you have, 4 teams with 3 losses, Cleveland, New York, Tennessee, and Arizona. But the one thing we do know is the Giants and the Vegas Raiders, they play this week. Both teams 2-13. It'll be interesting to see how it plays out because when I do look at these games and say, you can see where they're tanking, but not really tanking. Because when you're trying to win football games with young quarterbacks, like 4th and 5s in the red zone, they go for it because they know they're never going to pick up that first down. You're going to see that a lot. Other than Pete Carroll yesterday, actually trying to win the football game by punting when he probably shouldn't be punting and be aggressive, that's going to be fun because I do think Pete Carroll is under the understanding that winning games matters and he's going to be around next year. When the New York Giants understand they can't pick up a win. So the Tank Fest is going to be phenomenal. I actually think Las Vegas, Tom, wins that Tank Fest next week.
There was also a report yesterday that Pete Carroll's future with the Raiders is in doubt, at least according to Ian Rappaport. So, he may want to win just because that's the mentality that he has. But the Raiders as a franchise may not want to win. So, you give me the Raiders coming away with a win when they shouldn't. I think that's what Pete Carroll wants to do.
It's maybe that's like a warning shot across the bow because apparently you can't go tell your coaches like Brian Flores, hey, look, I'll give you a bonus if you lose games. We're trying to get better draft pick here. Maybe they're telling Pete, if you want to be around next year, you will lose out. You win, you won't be around for this rebuild as it goes. Best bets on the way. Fade the public poll. Monday show. Epicness right here on the grid. We'll be right back.
This season is about coming together, sharing moments.
We're going to go with the over tonight.
And celebrating what connects us. It's lighting the candles, gathering like a team, and finding joy in every night. 8 nights of tradition, 8 nights of celebration, 8 chances to shine. Happy Hanukkah from all of us at SportsGrid.
I see the Lions making it when it's all said and done. I talked to Brady Cannon about this. We were doing our show on Sunday night. I think the Bears are just a season early. I think they're a year early in their development. They are winning games, and they still have a negative point differential. The turnovers are keeping them afloat. That's just not sustainable when it's all said and done. Ben Johnson has done a fantastic job. Next year will be the year they truly take a lead.
Newswire, only on SportsGrid.
They're doing a new show about a Japanese interpreter.
Oh, they are?
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, they're doing I don't know if it's a documentary or actors are in it.
It's got to.
I think it's a drama.
It's a real show.
It's like a scripted show?
Yeah.
About a Japanese interpreter?
Yes.
I wonder who's getting paid for that.
The Craig Carton Show, only on SportsGrid.
Super Bowl MVP, multiple Super Bowl chances there, Super Bowl championship as they got it. Nick Sirianni said on the radio, no chance that Jalen Hurts is going to be benched. But by the way, Jalen Hurts didn't play the last 3 games. I think the Eagles would be 3-0 in those games, though. Just saying, Joe.
Oh, wow. How the mighty have fallen. When the Eagles fans turn on their quarterback, it's getting ugly in Philly, folks.
The Early Line, only on SportsGrid.
What a show on a Monday, people. Monday Night Football. I'm really intrigued by this game. I got to tell you, I am. 49ers and the Colts. It's one of those where if this was a game on a Sunday, Tom, you're probably like, okay, let me look at a few angles and move on. I don't really love the game because the worst thing you can do as a handicapper is just try to understand what the Colts are actually going to do. And also what happens if things don't go according to plan like they actually did in Seattle, the fun that can actually ensue. We'll find out a little bit later tonight. But, Tom, this is the part of the show that me and Tom talk for 2 hours. We have fun. We go back and forth. Now we need to hear from the people. Here's our Fade the Public poll. Real simple tonight. We're trying to find a way or some angles that might be right. And also, Bye is coming up in just a few moments. But at SportsGrid, that's how you follow it. Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday, we turn out questions that we need answers for by the public to see if we're going to fade the public or not. Tonight, Tom, what is your best bet for tonight's Monday Night Football matchup between the 49ers and the Colts? You had 4 options, the over, the under, the 49ers, or the Colts. I actually went under 46.5, which is actually the favorite right now live. Actually, that's not. 25%, 52% is actually the favorite here as I look for the 49ers at minus 5.5%. I went under. I don't know if I love it, but I had to vote on it, Tom. Where did your vote go? Over, under 49ers or Colts?
It went with under 46.5. And, part of it is that I just don't know if the Colts have enough push of offense on their own to get us over the game total. You need a dance partner really to get over this total. Yeah. The 49ers at a certain point, if they get to 24 or 27, I don't know if there's enough push on offense for the Colts to keep in this game. And then the 49ers just slow things down because they have the Colts at arm's reach, and there's just not going to be a push on offense for the Colts to put in 20 points their own. I see this as a 24-17 type of game in favor of the 49ers.
Yeah, I'm interested. I really am interested in this game. I think it's going to be a lot of fun to play out. I want to see what Rivers has. Could it be one of those where he's old, man? He might be out of at the first quarter with a shoulder injury, a tweaked hamstring. I'm telling you, right, I'm in my mid-40s. And I remember, just a year ago, me and my daughter out there, hey, we're going to run some laps, and, my hamstring's tightening up. It's amazing that he's actually coming off the couch and playing at this point. It's just the way it is, but we'll find out tonight who's going to be the winner and the loser, and also really big in the playoff race. Do the 49ers want that 1 seed? Do the Colts want to make the playoffs? We'll find out tonight as the 49ers are a favorite in this game, and we'll see how close that gets to 7 points here. Now's the time of the show. It's time to get after it with our best bets. Here's Bye. I had a really good week last week, Tom, betting in the NBA, but I got boat raced on Friday night by the San Antonio Spurs crushing the Atlanta Hawks. But that's going to happen when you're taking public fades here at this point, Tom. Where are you going tonight with your action? So much on the board. So much.
Let's go to this NFL game on Monday night. Let's stick with George Kittle over 64.5 receiving yards, sitting at minus 114. First off, love the matchup defensively going up against the Colts. They've allowed the 8th most receiving yards to opposing tight ends, sitting at 928 this season. Kittle plays a consistent role in the offense for them. Since he's come back from injury, really played a solid role, 84, 67, 78, 67, 88 receiving yards over this last stretch of games. Ricky Pearsall is not in for the 49ers. It's going to be a lot of Juwan Jennings. It's going to be a lot of George Kittle, a lot of CMC, but I like this matchup for Kittle in prime time. Yes, the 49ers clinched, but as you said, they still have motivation to play and win. They can push towards the NFC number 1 seed overall or the NFC West title. They have to play the Seahawks to end the season. So I like this spot for Kittle to show up in the biggest moment.
There you go. George Kittle tonight. We'll see what happens. And also Brock Purdy, the correlation around 250 passing yards. Just, you need a pulse. You need a pulse from the Colts, or you need the Colts to get down, because the 49ers, they're going to keep on striking, keep on moving forward, and we'll see what happens. But George Kittle, never a bad option. Tonight I'm going to the NBA. A 10 o'clock start tonight. So if you're watching Monday Night Football, this game will be underway right around halftime, a little bit in the third quarter. The Detroit Pistons and the Portland Trailblazers. The Trailblazers have been kind to me this NBA season with some of these public fades. If I'm looking at a ticket count, and it's early, right around 40% of the tickets coming in on the Portland Trailblazers. That line opened up as a favorite here for the Detroit Pistons at 5.5. Now, granted, I actually wrote this down wrong, but that is not an alt number we're looking at where the Trailblazers are minus 5.5. They're actually getting 5.5 on their home court at a minus 114. So plus Blazers at 5.5. By the way, Joe Lease would be appreciative. He probably loved that alt minus 5.5, swinging 10 points to get that big cash payment. But I'm taking the Trailblazers, getting the 5.5 at home against the Pistons, Tom. That's my public fade for tonight.
Yeah, we got a little bit of action on NFL, a little bit of action on NBA. We have some bowl games today, which I know that you won't be watching, but we will move throughout the rest of the week with plenty of action to cover.
Just think, people, we got a bowl game today and 3 more tomorrow. That's 4 games down I won't be watching and 4 games less that won't be a part of my life. We are winning, people. It's what we do on the early lines. On the right side, it's Tom Vecchio. We will see you bright and early tomorrow morning. Cash in some of those tickets.